Hi class, today we are on Saxon Math Book 4, Lesson 80, and we are going to talk about division when there's a 0 in the answer to a 3-digit problem. So our first example says each weekday afternoon in a small town, 618, so I'm going to write that down on my whiteboard here, 618 newspapers are delivered to customers. The task of delivering the newspapers is divided equally among 3 drivers. How many newspapers does each driver deliver? So that's divided by 3 drivers. And in the beginning here, nothing changes. We're going to do exactly what we've been doing for all of our long divisions so far this year. So we look at our first digit and we say, does 3 go into 6? Yes. How many times? 2. And we write that answer up there. That was step 1, divide. Now we go step 2. We're going to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we're on to step 3, subtract. So we subtract there, we get nothing. And now we say drop, and I drop my 1. Now we start over. Divide. Does 3 go into 1? If I have 1 M&M and I need to share it with 3 people, how many M&Ms do they each get? They don't each get an M&M. We only have 1. Okay? So, can I make groups of 3 if I only have 1? No. How many times does 3 go into 1? 0 times. So at this point, if it makes more sense for you to go through the steps, and now you're going to multiply, 0 times 3 is 0, you're going to subtract, you get 1, and then we bring down our 8. If that makes sense to you, and that's the way you want to do it, there is nothing wrong with that. However, you can skip this step. If you get there, you put a 0 up at the top, you put a 0 in your answer, you know that you're going to multiply, you're going to get nothing. You're going to subtract, you're going to still have 1. You can skip that step, and, oh, I went a little too far. And you can bring your 8 down next to this 1 that's still left over. If you have a 0 in your answer, then you can drop twice and skip those other steps. Now, if that's confusing to you and you find I'm not doing that right, then please continue to multiply, subtract. It won't hurt you to do that. If you can understand this, then you can do this and skip that step. So make that decision based off of how well you understand the concept of long division. So now we've got 18 down here. We start back over at the beginning. How many times does 3 go into 18? 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. We're going to subtract, and we do not have a remainder. Now this was a word problem, so it's not just 206, it's 206 newspapers. There needs to be a label for the word problem. All right, our next example is not a word problem. It simply says 1,483 divided by 4. So we start. Does 4 go into 1? No. I want to put an X there. Now, some people put zeros there, and that would work too. Does 4 go into 1? No, 0 times. You could put a 0 there. The reason I put an X at the beginning is because we don't typically write numbers like this. We don't put zeros in front of a number, so I like to keep it an X just so that I don't have that unnecessary digit. But a 0 is fine, and it would serve the same purpose. All right, so 4 doesn't go into 1. Does 4 go into 14? Yes. How many times? 3. 3 times 4 is 12. we subtract, we drop our next digit, and now we have 28. Does 4 go into 28? Yes. How many times? 7. 7 times 4 is 28. So when we subtract, we get nothing. And we drop our 3. Does 4 go into 3? So here's the type of problem that kids often have trouble with. They say, no, 4 doesn't go into 3, so now my remainder is 3, and the answer is 37, remainder 3. That is not correct. Notice your place value here. Your 3 is in the hundreds place. Your 7 is in the tens place. If you get to the end here and you say, no, 4 doesn't go into 3, at this point you must write a 0 in your ones place so that you can get the correct answer of 370, remainder 3. So at the beginning, the 0 is not necessary. At the end, the 0 is necessary. You need it there to hold your place value, to show that the 3 is in the hundreds, the 7 is in the tens, and you don't have any ones. All right, our next example says the same number of landscaping bricks are stacked on each of 4 pallets. The total weight of the pallets is 3 tons. What is the weight in pounds of each pallet? So there's a couple steps here. They want the weight in pounds, but they've given us the weight in tons. We know that we have 3 tons, so how many pounds is that? 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, so we can count by 2,000. 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 pounds is going to be 3 tons. So we're going to start with 6,000. Our 6,000 pounds of weight is divided onto 4 pallets. So we need to do this division problem in order to answer the question. Does 4 go into 6? Yes. How many times? Just once. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, we get 2. Drop our 0. Does 4 go into 20? Yes. How many times? 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract, we have 0. We bring down a 0. Does 4 go into 0? No. But again, place value. See my 1 here? It's in the thousands place. See my 5? It's in the hundreds place. So I can't just say 15 is my answer. I have to say, okay, 4 goes into 0, 0 times. I can drop my next 0. 4 still goes into 0, 0 times. And so then our answer is 1,500 pounds. We want to give it a label there. 1,500 pounds is how much weight each pallet holds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have some lesson practice problems. They begin on page 511 of your textbook, and they continue on page 512. So it's problems A through H. If you are my student, I want you doing these on your own and bring your answers with you when I see you a little bit later today in class. If you are not my in-class student, then I want you to try them and check your answers with a homeschool teacher or parent. After you finish your lesson practice, the written practice begins on page 512. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.